Hold on. Oh, it's live. We're live.
We're live, guys. It's the Nbs Show, and if y'all, you know, you may want to adjust the screen here because you haven't seen this face in a while. But I'm back. Your boy Justin, the champ, is back. You know, I've been watching these guys. They've been holding it down in the NBS Show for the last couple months. I've been having heart problems. You know, after listening to them for these last couple months, I can see where my heart problems came from.
Wow. Out the gate. We not even 40 seconds in, and you out the gate with it. Let's go.
So I'm back to try to, smooth things over, to try to make things back to normal, back to, things making sense in this world. So, I got my boy Keo right here from Cali, uh, you know, out there on the patio. What's going on, Keo?
Unlike you, I'll say something positive about you.
Oh,
It's good to see you back on the show. I know it's been a very rough, long year for you, but we're at the end of it, so I'm glad to see you
definitely. We got my, you know,
back.
my cousin, my blood, my rival, my bitter enemy, and the guy that I'm gonna once again beat in every fantasy sports league we're in this coming year. True X the sports junkie from Lafayette, Louisiana. What's going on, man?
Man, hold on. I gotta be properly introduced. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Hold on. Bear with me. Basketball started today. So I have somebody I want to introduce. Oh! Hey. You know what the vibes are, baby. We here. Basketball started today.
Where's your goal, Keo?
And I am the current champ. Woo!
My goal is everything I do behind the scenes for the NBS brand. That's what my goal is.
Woo!
We got the behind the camera champ.
But thank you for having me. You already know what it is. Basketball season underway. I got the Pels hat on. Go Pels. But we here to talk about a football today. So let's get into it.
Well, we do have a little bit of basketball to talk about.
Okay.
So let's start off with that. Since we're talking about basketball, it is opening night. It's the big time for all sports fans. The NBA season is upon us. We got two great games going on tonight. But let's start off with who has the biggest chip on their shoulder this year? What player in the NBA has the most to prove this coming season in the 2021 NBA season?
Keo, go ahead. I'm gonna let you go first. Hold it down, boy. Keo froze.
I think can you hear me?
Yeah.
Good.
I think the player that got the biggest chip on their shoulder, the most to prove, I'm gonna go with Anthony Davis.
Wow.
With Anthony Davis coming off an injury, I think a lot of people are questioning what type of Anthony Davis this going to be, what this Lakers team can be, especially adding Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, and a lot of guys on the depth chart. So I think with Anthony Davis, I think he does have the most to prove. I think he's going to play with a chip on the shoulder. That he is still one of the best players in the league. And I think he's gonna show everybody this year. And I think he's the guy with the most to prove right now.
I'm going a different route, man. I know a lot of people think, they bring up the Carmelo Anthonys, the Russell Westbrooks, all these guys that should have rings. But I'm gonna go a different direction. I'm not even mad at y'all for saying Russ, because Russ does have an MVP. I'm going to go with James Harden. And here's why. Harden is a great player. Nobody denies that. But you are playing with Kevin Durant for the second time now in your career. You played with Chris Paul. You played with Russell Westbrook. You played with a lot of talented guys, and you get to the championship, except for that 1 year early on in his career with Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. With all the talent, with all those, and the MVP and all the other stuff that comes with it, it's time for this guy to take the next step. Everybody's picking Brooklyn for the most part, even without Kyrie, to get to the finals. If they don't get it done now, to me, that's going to be a big stain on his resume. Kyrie got a championship. Even if he comes back or he doesn't come back, he has a championship. Kevin Durant got a championship. You bring up a lot of people picking the Lakers to come out of the West. LeBron got a championship. Anthony Davis got a championship. To me, the only guy that you're looking at, you say it to yourself, it got to be either Russ or it got to be James Harden, because these guys are MVP caliber players, Hall of Famers. It's time to put the chips down. They have to win a championship. I don't think, it's Russ, even though you can make that argument, because Russ is not really the focal point in LA to me. James Harden is one of the focal points in Brooklyn.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, because you kind of rebuked my initial thoughts was Russell Westbrook. I had two guys that I was kind of going back and forth with. One was Russell Westbrook. Just like James Harden, he's one of those been one of those players that has had help in the past and not been able to win. He's been one of those, yes, he's a top 5 player in the league, but he hasn't won anything. So he has a lot to prove. Nobody believes he can win a championship. But him going to LA, it's kind of like Harden with the Nets. When you have super teams, I don't respect you. I mean, yes, y'all can do that. I've never been a guy who believes in bringing together 3 or 4 superstars and thinking that you gain credit by winning the championship. I'm not that guy. But to me, the one guy who has the most to prove, and I think we've talked about him in the past, and actually our next subject's about him, is Ben Simmons. Because he went from being an all-star player to a player that nobody trusts anymore. No, he won't take the big shot. He's scared to take the big shot. They booed him out of Philadelphia. His own players and coaches don't believe in him. He's asked for a trade. Nobody wants to give up enough for him. So right now he is stuck because he's under contract in Philadelphia, but nobody wants to play with him and nobody wants to give up any assets to get him because they don't believe in him. So if anybody has anything to prove this season that, hey, I'm really that guy, that I can be that guy, it's Ben Simmons. This is a make it or break it year for him, because if he doesn't come in and be a better player than he was last season, it's all bad. This could be a slippery slope down for Ben Simmons from being a superstar to being irrelevant in the NBA.
I'm not mad at that. That's actually a good one. I'll say the Pelicans find a way to get him back to Louisiana. He played at LSU. We need him down here. I'm not saying trade Zion, but if we can get him at point guard to go with Zion and BI, man, that would be nice. That would be nice. So I know it's not gonna happen, Justin. I'm just saying, I'm a Pelicans fan. I would like Ben Simmons down here.
Let's talk about that, because our next topic is: do you think where do you think Ben Simmons is going to end up at?
He's definitely going to be gone. He's not going to play for Philadelphia.
Do you think you don't think you'll end up playing a whole full season in Philadelphia?
That's done. His time in Philadelphia is over. Embiid had a conference earlier today or yesterday and said he doesn't even care about the dude no more. I mean, he got kicked out of practice because he didn't care. I think he's going to get traded. So who is the $1 million question? I'm racking my brain. Who do you send him to? Man, maybe Boston. Boston, I think, maybe would go after him. But who are you giving up? You're not giving up Tatum or Brown. So I just, it's gonna be hard to see like where he goes. I don't think Portland would give up Dame Lillard. I know that trade's coming up. It's gonna be a tough situation on where he's gonna go. But I do think he's one of the most scrutinize guys right now. He has to prove that he's that guy, like you saying.
What about you, Keo?
Um,
Does Ben Simmons play a full season in Philadelphia?
no, he doesn't play a full season. I think he'll be traded to some team. I just don't know what team it is. When it comes to Ben Simmons, it's the same story every single year. Improve his jump shot. He got to do better. I've heard everything, and we're basically repeating the same thing every single year. You look at his field goal percentage, his points average, assists from 2017 from to last season is pretty much identical if you really look at it. And I don't think there's not much that this guy can do. He's who he is, man. He's always been that guy since he came out of LSU, and we're really realizing him right now. I don't think the dude's gonna get any better. He's just gonna be that same type of player. You just gotta utilize him with his strengths and weaknesses, and that's what it is. He'll never improve his jump shot. He'll never be a number one option on the team, and that's what we're gonna get from Ben Simmons. I mean, he's a valuable asset, but he's not that guy that'll lead the team.
Do you see him? Do you see him doing like a a Fultz, like in Orlando, where he lands somewhere where he's irrelevant, but improves himself to a point where he's relevant?
I think he'll be relevant on the team because he does make an impact. He's a great defensive player. I'll give him that. He's great at distributing the ball, gets good high percentage shots, but as far as shooting it, not much. I don't think he'll ever fix his jump shot. But I think he'll help out a team, though, especially a team that needs a point guard. So I could see him helping out a team. I think he'll have more of an impact, more valuable than Marcus Fultz, though.
Okay. I think he actually plays the full season in Philadelphia.
Wow.
I don't think anybody will give up enough for him. And that's the big thing is Philadelphia is not willing to just let him go. And who's going to give up all the assets they're asking for and, have to deal with his contract. That's a big ask for any franchise right now. So I just don't see it happening. I think if it had happened, if it was going to happen, it would have happened by now. They had time. I just don't think it gets any better for him. I think, he ends up staying there. Whether he plays, he may end up being a Kyrie Irving situation where they just sit him. But I think he stays a 76er for the remaining of this season, and then we'll see what happens next year. That's just what I think is going to happen this year.
If he gets traded, I know I threw out the Celtics. I'm going to throw out some other names. But who do y'all think he does get traded to? Obviously it's a shot in the dark. We don't know.
Man, it's going to be a team that's trying to build something up. A team like Dallas. You could always see the Lakers.
Wow.
But the Lakers normally get anybody for the low. That just is the way it happens in Los Angeles. But if I had to pick one, I would say somewhere like Dallas.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the Clippers.
I like that. That's a good one.
I think the Clippers, their biggest issue, I think the past 2 seasons is the point guard situation. I think they missed out trading to get Lonzo Ball or even signing him. That could have been really helpful for him. But I think they need that number 3 guy. I know Reggie Jackson was huge in the playoffs. No Kawhi right now. No more Patrick Beverly. So I think Ben Simmons would be a great addition to the Clippers and definitely help that team out.
Yeah, I like the Clippers. I actually had them written down right here. I brought up the Celtics, but another team I think that it could happen. I'm just like I said, it's a shot in the dark. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I think the Nuggets are interesting because Jamal Murray is out for a while, and he has a big contract. And maybe they look at it and say Jamal Murray got upside where we can get him back, and possibly if he comes back 100%, the Sixers are getting something back that they can sell to their franchise while Ben Simmons ends up in Denver. That's an outside shot. And I think, you know what I think he would play well at is in San Antonio. For a long time, I'll say this. Tony Parker couldn't shoot. Avery Johnson couldn't shoot. And they won championships with both of those guys. I think if you have a guy as talented as Ben Simmons, obviously they had Tim Duncan. I get all that. I'm not saying they're going to win a championship, y'all. But what I am saying is his type of skill set, I think Pop could mold something and build something around him. So that's just the outside. Celtics, Nuggets, Spurs, Clippers. I think one of those teams he'll get traded to.
I like the Spurs. I like that. I like that. Well, one more NBA topic since it is opening night. Who is y'all's breakout team of this year? You were talking about a team that was irrelevant last year, one that no one's seen on their radar, and somebody who's going to pop out, make the playoffs this season. And actually, we're not talking about championships here, but we're talking about being relevant and being an important team this coming year.
This is tough. You want me to go first, Keo?
I'll go first. If you're talking about a breakout team, especially how weak the East is right now, I'm gonna say the Charlotte Hornets. I think the Charlotte Hornets are on the rise. You got LaMelo Ball. I think he's gonna have a huge season. This upcoming season, I think he's gonna put out crazy numbers. Obviously, you got Bridges that LaMelo loves playing with him alongside with PJ Washington, and they got a lot of young players. Gordon Hayward, probably they're one of their veterans out there. I think he just needs to stay healthy. So I'm gonna go with the Hornets. I think the Hornets could make a splash and surprise people.
I figured somebody would say the Hornets just because everybody's high on LaMelo. I noticed the Bulls. A lot of people are gonna probably say, but I'm not going with them. I'm going a real outside shot right now. Now, like I said, I'm not even saying this team is gonna make the playoffs, but I'm interested. I think this guy is another guy that we got to start talking about. You have to make the playoffs now, and that's Karl-Anthony Towns and the Timberwolves. Towns. Year after year, we keep saying he's one of the best big men. You got Anthony Edwards, who was a stud last year as a rookie. Then you got D'Angelo Russell, who's finally going to be healthy now for hopefully the whole season. And then I gave Justin a hard time. But Malik Beasley was playing well until he got hurt. I just look at this team and I say to myself, man, if they're ever going to have a chance, it's this year. No Kawhi Leonard. The Clippers should take a step back. I know they played well without him, but there's no Kawhi Leonard there, and I can see some teams falling out that made the playoffs last year in the West. So I'm gonna go with the Timberwolves. I'm not confident, but I'm going with.
All right. Well, I'm glad you mentioned them.
I know because it's common sense.
The Chicago Bulls. You got Zach LaVine. You got the addition of DeRozan. I just these guys are getting younger, and just those guards are nasty in Chicago right now. And they picked up Vucevic this past year that he was just starting to heat up at the end of the year. So yeah, I mean I got Chicago this year. I think Chicago makes the playoffs, and I think they're going to be somewhere in the 4 or 5 seed in the East. I think they could really make a splash. They're not going to win a championship. Don't get it twisted. But I think they'll definitely make a splash over there in the East. So now we go to college football.
Mm-hmm.
Big news in college football this week. Coach O beat a top 20 team in the Florida Gators this week. And in the same day of finally winning a big game, announces that he is no longer going to be the coach next season. They announced that they are separating mutually, and he's going to finish the season. Is this the right move for LSU? Was this a good move?
Yo, I'm gonna go first because I'm an LSU fan. Yo, I'm an LSU. I go to LSU. We gonna call it spade a spade. But absolutely. And look, first and foremost, before I even get into this, thank you, Coach O. You know, we did win a national championship with you. I felt like you brought something back to Baton Rouge and the whole state of Louisiana with that championship team with Joe Burrow, Joe Brady, and company, Jamar Chase. That was an all-time historic team. But when you have players that right now that doesn't want to play for Coach O, and you have coaches that don't want to coach with him, it's sending a bad message right now at the university. They have kids that are backing out of their commitments from LSU, and that's not good. Coach O, for whatever reason, a lot of things went left after they won that national championship. We all thought Joe Brady was coming back. He had signed the contract, they said, and then the next thing you know, he's in Carolina. I think this is setting up. Now, granted, I'm not sitting here saying Joe Brady's going to be a great head coach, but I'm hearing Joe Brady's going to be the guy. He's going to be the guy. He's going to be the head coach. Now, that's a whole different ballgame. When you think about offensive coordinator and head coach, that's a whole different ballgame. But I think LSU sees the writing on the wall. They're saying to themselves, Coach O, he caught lightning in a bottle that year. Everything just fell right into place for him. Joe Brady, Joe Burrow, and that whole offensive scheme. And they got a championship out of it. That's great. But Joe Brady, the LSU looks at as the mastermind behind all of that. And they're going to go out and make a pitch to him. I don't know if he's going to accept it, but that's their number one guy on their wish list.
About you, Keo?
I don't think it's the right decision. I think they should keep him. When you look at how long Les Miles was there, I mean, Les Miles had some winning seasons, but he had multiple losing seasons. I mean, these Les Miles is a different type of coach. He ain't scared to take chances when you look when it comes to Les Miles. But I think during that time, Les Miles' time was just out, and he could just never get that offense rolling, because that was the biggest question. When Les Miles was there, they could never get it rolling. But I think for Ed Orgeron, Coach O, I think it's a little bit too early to get rid of this guy, and I disagree with it. I think they should have kept him in, because Joe Brady is not guaranteed. I know LSU fans are saying
facts.
I know LSU fans are saying Joe Brady, but that's not guaranteed, man. If they know for a fact they could get Joe Brady, then okay, cool. But I don't know, man. I don't know if they could land, Joe Brady just like that. And if that backfires, if you can't land Joe Brady and you're assuming that you could get Joe Brady, what's next for you? And that's the biggest question.
Jimbo Fisher.
Jimbo Fisher did say that he has no interest of LSU. And I know,
and Nick Saban said that too, but just go ahead.
Well, before you cut me off, I was about to say that right now. Usually when coaches say I'm not interested of this team or coaching this team, they end up changing their mind and saying, okay, the next thing you know, we find out they're the coach of that team. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jimbo gets in there. I think he would be a great candidate for LSU, and he could change that atmosphere around in LSU.
Man, this was. I mean, maybe there was something behind the scenes. There are reports now of Coach O's behavior behind the scenes, of flirting with the director's wife. Something. I mean, it's all rumors, but we had this discussion earlier in the week, and I think y'all know the answer because I gave y'all the answer. How many current head coaches that coach today have won a national championship? And the number is 5. And Nick Saban is one of them. So there are only 4 others, and Coach O is one of those. So you're telling me you're just going to drop this guy who's only one of 4 other coaches to win a national championship, not named Nick Saban, because of actually a season and a half of bad play? Man, that's just unreal expectations. That's not Alabama that he was coaching. You know, there are other teams that would get, like I said in between us, there are other colleges out there that would give their soul to win a national championship, and LSU got that, and we have been relevant. We're ranked in the top 25 preseason, I know, but the thing is, we stay relevant. We just beat a top 20 team. Yes, we're not top 10 like they want to be, but you're not going to be that every year. When you have the SEC, as long as you stay competitive, um, it should be good enough. And he has earned the right to have a couple bad seasons when you win a national championship in college football.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And the argument of his players losing interest, this is not the NFL where teams pick players and they have to play there. So they have to follow the coach. In college football, you are recruited by that coach. You come to play for that coach. That coach comes into your living room, talks with your mom and dad, shakes hands with your family, promises them the world, and you choose to play for that coach. You can play anywhere else. So if you choose to play for that coach, then that's not a coach problem. That's a player problem. And
okay,
that player can be replaced by someone who chooses to play at LSU for that coach.
So Coach O came mid 2016, right? Well, around that time. They were 8-4. The next year, you went 9-4, which is not a bad thing, but finished 4th in the SEC. The next year, 10-3, I think finished 3rd or 4th in the SEC again. The following year, Joe Brady's 1 year there, 15-0. 15-0. And then this year, off to a very slow start, 4-3. No Joe Brady. When LSU looks at it, they're saying to themselves, the 1 year that you've had that was great, Joe Brady was there. And let's be honest, yeah, we went 10-3, but LSU has 5-star blue chip athletes at every position, everywhere. Their recruiting class is up there with the Alabamas, with the Ohio States, with the Georgias, whoever you want to throw out there, the Clemsons of the world. And when you look at it, LSU before that, outside of this 1 year, which is an anomaly if we're going to be honest, LSU's quarterback play has been horrendous. It's been bad. Even the year prior with Joe Burrow. Nobody predicted that man to be a number 1 overall pick. No one predicted that man to be Heisman, but they looked at what Joe Brady did. And I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm just saying they're looking at it and saying to themselves, yeah, you caught lightning in the bottle that 1 year. But in all honesty, Coach O, you're not on the same level as a Nick Saban in their mind. And at LSU, we're putting either all in or we're all out. At the end of the day, like, dude, hey, I don't have nothing against Coach O. I wish him the best in the world. But I don't think he's the guy that's going to lead us into the future, if I'm being honest. That's no disrespect to him. That's just what it is. I wish him all the best in the world. And I'm not even saying Joe Brady's that guy. But you have other guys that you're going to throw out there. Look, for instance, Caleb Williams. I know we got to go into other topics. Caleb Williams might win the starting job
in Oklahoma.
In Oklahoma. You tell him if they hired Joe Brady, Spencer Rattler's not looking at LSU and saying to himself, man, that transporting portal looks real good at LSU. You got Malik Neighbors. You got Keyshawn Butte. You got wide receiver. You at LSU. You got nothing but talent. Spencer Rattler may look at that and say to himself, I'm going to transfer to LSU. I'm just throwing things out there for y'all, putting it in perspective. He's not going if Coach O is the coach. I can promise you that.
Okay, but LSU won by getting a great offensive coordinator. Why not try to go back to that route of changing your offensive coordinator.
Joe Brady's special, man. Offensive.
Is he? Is he? Is he? Because he could have also got lightning in a bottle. Because
He
now
could
Joe
have.
Burrow is lighting it up in the NFL. So it wasn't a hey, it's a great system at LSU. He's lighting it up in Cincinnati.
Hey, you.
And is how is Carolina doing these days? I'll wait.
Okay, but hold up. Carolina's playing without their best player too. When he was playing, they were 3-0. When he was playing, they were 3-0.
How's that quarterback play in Carolina?
And he resurrected. Hey, when Christian McCaffrey was playing, Sam Darnold was playing some good football. There's no Christian McCaffrey. Now it's kind of like, I don't know. Hey, let's wait and see. The jury's still out. And who's to say Joe Brady already not talking to LSU and say, you know what? I'm done over here. I'm not.
So what the hell
So
what the hell you expected to happen to LSU when they lost 14 players from their draft class?
Hey,
That's 3 offensive lines. 3
Alabama
offensive...
reboots every year. It's next man up. So that's not an excuse.
You're comparing Alabama to LSU, really?
Hey,
so look what happened to Clemson. Clemson's in the same boat as LSU right now.
Clemson's not Alabama, though.
But my thing is, LSU hasn't been, that team. I want to say LSU went 5 what they went last year. 5-5. They wasn't good last year either. They were terrible. And they're off to a terrible start this year. So when you look at what they're doing, 5-5 is not good enough. Whatever it was, let me look it up real quick. Let me find that record from last year, LSU. Because at the end of the day, bro, it's not good enough. I have to be honest with you. Was it 5-5? This is what this thing saying. 5-5. That's not good enough, dude. There's no way that's ever gonna be allowed at Clemson either. Are you kidding me? 5-5, and now you're 4-3. Are you kidding me? No way.
So they're gonna fire Sweeney if he goes 5-5.
He's gonna get fired. I'm not saying that. But Dabo Sweeney built up Clemson to where it's at. O didn't build up LSU. He didn't build it up. They were getting 5-star athletes before Coach O walked through that door.
All right. Well, let's stay with college football. Let's go to the next topic. We discussed Alabama because we all know Alabama is a very, very important piece in the college football mainframe, right? Because every year they are in the mix. Every year, as long as Nick Saban is the coach there, they're going to be in the top 10 and they're going to be competing for a national championship. But this year may be different. We got a team in Georgia that looks great, and they may have to play them in the SEC championship, which could possibly boot Alabama out of the playoffs before it starts. What would be more important for college football? Alabama not making the playoffs or Cincinnati finally making the playoffs as a big conference school?
Go ahead, Q. I know you've been waiting for this.
I'm gonna go with Alabama not making the playoffs. I think that would be huge for college football. You look at, you want to talk about the ratings that it would hit. I think it would hurt it. I think Alabama is good when it comes for college football. Like, I mean, there's not the college football wouldn't be right without mentioning Alabama, and Alabama has to be there. It's like the Lakers not being in the NBA playoffs. That wouldn't make sense. It's like the New York Yankees not in the MLB playoffs. That wouldn't make sense. So for Alabama, that would be huge if they're not in the playoffs, because I don't think anybody would watch the playoffs if Alabama was not in there.
I would. I know I would. I don't know about you. I would be happy that they didn't make the playoffs, me personally. As far as which one did the best story, of course he's right. I'm not gonna lie to you. If Alabama doesn't make the playoffs, as far as a money thing, I think it hurts college football. But from a fan perspective, I think it's better for Cincinnati to make the playoffs and get in over in Alabama, because now it looks like you know what? You don't have to go to Alabama to get into the playoffs. You don't have to go to Alabama to win a championship. You can go other places. And no, I don't agree with Keo on one thing, though. I don't look at Alabama like I look at the Yankees or I look at the Lakers. Are you kidding me? I look at them more like Golden State. They were good in this last few years, but they're not that. We're not about to sit here and act like Alabama is the all-time greatest program in college football history. They've been hot lately. When Nick Saban got there. Saban is really the Saban aura, kind of like Bill Belichick. Is the Bill Belichick?
You need to give this guy a history lesson in college football.
Huh?
I said, Keo, you need to give this guy a college lesson in college football.
Are you telling me that Alabama take away the Nick Saban era is Notre Dame? Are you telling me they're USC? Are you telling me that they're Michigan, Ohio State?
You can't take it away though.
I'm not.
It happened.
It's more of
with it. They are, yes.
It's more Nick Saban. That's what it is. If Saban's not there, that Alabama is not that team. That's just what it is, in my opinion. I'm not sitting there saying Alabama is not a good program. That's not what I'm saying. Miami was a great program, but they're not that now. Notre Dame was a great program. They're still decent here and there, but we know it's Nick Saban, bro. We're not about to sit here and do that. Alabama's a good program. I'm not saying they're a terrible program. They're a good program. But to sit here and say that they're the Lakers of college football, no, I'm not doing that. Maybe the Patriots. As of late, they've been really good.
As of late, you make it seem like it's been a couple of years. It's been more than a couple of years when we talk about Alabama.
I just said the
Golden
Patriots.
State. You said Golden State. They're not no Golden State. Golden State was dominating for the last 4 years. Alabama's been doing it way longer than that.
Okay, I just said the Patriots.
First you said Golden State, now you said the Patriots. So which one is it?
But before you spoke, I said the Patriots.
Oh yeah, you switched up.
All right,
That's what exactly you did.
Well, I made a comparison. As of late, they've been really good.
When you say as of late, you make it seem.
Who was Alabama's coach before Nick Saban?
Okay, don't forget about Bear Bryant.
Okay, who was their coach before Nick Saban?
But you're talking about all time. We're talking all time.
You can name 2 coaches in Alabama history.
They're the probably 2 of the top 5 coaches of all time.
Oh, stop. What? Don't do that. Bill Bryant got a big name. We're not going to sit here and say he's the top 5 head coach of all time. We're not doing that. You're making me spill my water. Are you kidding me? Don't do that. Shout out to Bill Bryant, though. Yeah, come on, man. You are wild. The Lakers?
They are the Lakers, man. Alabama's been dominating the SEC throughout the 2000s.
Every sports benefits from a villain. A team that either you love or you love to hate. For many, it is the Yankees. For many, it is the Patriots. For many, it's the Dallas Cowboys. And for college football, right now, and for a very long time, it has been the Alabama Crimson Tide. So, yes, ratings will hurt because as long as they're there, either you're an Alabama fan or you watch because you pray that they get beat. You will watch people who are not Alabama fans will still watch to see them get beat. They're one of those teams. I don't think that's really arguable. So I think ratings do hurt. In this question, I was torn because to me, this is more of a, hey, am I selfish now? Or do I worry about the future of college football? Because Alabama not being in the playoffs now, I think makes it for a worse playoffs because I think Georgia just runs the table and it's not even competitive. I don't think there's a team out there that could compete with Georgia right now if Alabama's not in it.
Well, they got to play Alabama. They got to play Alabama regardless when they get to that SEC championship.
Yeah, but they could play them again. If they're in it, they have to play them again, which makes it competitive, is in my opinion. Cincinnati making it does not make it competitive. But to your point, I had the exact same thoughts before the show. If Cincinnati makes it, Alabama doesn't, I think that's better for the future of college football. It's maybe not present, but for the future, because you'll have all those 4-star, 5-star players who always go to Alabama. Because we discussed it earlier. When teams lose 12 or 13 starters to the NFL draft, how can they continue to keep going? Because every single year they get 4 or 5-star players. So if you can have some of those players go to smaller schools, knowing that they can still compete and they can build something and they can stand out at these smaller schools and win a national championship, then that's great for college football, because we're kind of tired of seeing Alabama get the best draft class in the nation year in and year out. It's time for other teams to start competing in that fashion. So I think it's better for the future of college football, but not for the current college football playoffs. So I'm torn. So the sports fan in me, I'm gonna go for the future, because I want to see with this new college football system, with SEC growing, and it looks like it's going to only be 2 or 3 conferences. I want to see more teams make it. So I want to see the future better. So I'm going to go with Cincinnati making the playoffs being a better story for me currently.
Okay.
All right, man. Now we go to the NFL. Our last couple topics. We had some big games this past week. Who had the most impressive win? Is it the Baltimore Ravens going in and beating the former San Diego, but the current Los Angeles Chargers with Justin Herbert, or the Cardinals staying undefeated and beating the sorry Browns to stay undefeated?
Go
You
ahead,
say the
Keo.
sorry Browns, but you pick them.
That's why they're sorry, because they let me
um,
down once again.
um, I'm gonna say Arizona's win was really impressive. What they were able to do, they jumped up early on this team. Very early on this team, and I know the Browns dealt with injuries with Kareem Hunt and Baker Mayfield, but I don't think that was the case at all. Even if those two were healthy, they still would have lost that game. Um, Arizona controlled the entire game. They had no answer for them. The defense, they made some good quality plays. DeAndre Hopkins, he had 2 touchdown receptions. Kyler Murray, they had no answer for Kyler Murray in that game. And I had the Browns winning too. I thought this was a trap game for Arizona going against Cleveland, but obviously that wasn't the case. And Arizona definitely proved me wrong, man. And I'm definitely sold by them. And I'm actually very impressed what this team was able to do. So I'm gonna go with the Arizona Cardinals staying undefeated.
Okay, so let me just put this out there. I disagree with Keo, but I want to also say I was more impressed by a different team outside of those games. But
Really?
out of the two that you just said, I think the Ravens, and I'll come back to that in a second. The most impressive win to me was Tennessee over Buffalo. That was incredible. The way Buffalo was playing, I thought for sure they would beat Tennessee, but obviously I was wrong. Shout out to Derrick Henry. I voted him for the NBS Player of the Week. We can talk about it at another time. That was an incredible performance against a really good defense. Shout out to King Henry. But out of the question that you just mentioned, I'm definitely going with Baltimore. Now, have y'all watched the Chargers of late? The Chargers have been winning at a high rate and scoring a lot of points. And you know what the Baltimore Ravens said? Justin Herbert, that's cute. Mike Williams, that's cute. Austin Eckler, that's cute. Keenan Allen, that's cute. We shut all that down. And they dominated that football game. I got to give a lot of credit to Baltimore. If you're saying which one was more impressive, I'm definitely going with the Baltimore Ravens.
All right. Well, I can agree with you in there, but I'm going to go with what Keo said with Arizona. To me, at the end of the day, if you're undefeated, I mean, I know, I'm kind of I'm trying to pumping my brakes on it, because you also got to remember just 1 year ago they had a team with 11-0, who was not a very great team. So, we need to calm down about that, because the Pittsburgh Steelers went 11-0 last year, and we all see where Big Ben is now. It's not looking very good in Pittsburgh.
Don't talk about my quarterback. I just traded for him.
Good luck. But so I'm still gonna go with the Arizona Cardinals because to me, when you are playing without your head coach because of COVID, that's a big deal when you stay undefeated and you have such a dominant win without your head coach and a couple other players. I still got to give it to them. But shout out to Baltimore, man, because the guy that I'm the only person in the MBS who picked this guy to win MVP, and it's looking very, very good for me right now. Lamar Jackson, this guy is doing it everywhere with his legs, his arms. I mean, he's just out there doing his thing. But I'm still gonna go with the Arizona Cardinals, man.
Okay.
Well, speaking of quarterbacks and COVID, Cam Newton finally got his vaccination. That's been the biggest thing, stopping him from being signed because people were afraid. What's so funny?
His face. That dude is a clown, bro.
So, I mean, there are rumors out there that teams like Dallas, who may need a quarterback because Dak's got a boot on, could sign him. Does him getting a vaccination finally get Cam Newton signed? And if so, where at?
I don't think it's gonna make a difference. I think Cam Newton has played his last series of downs, and I don't think he's ever gonna get signed. If he does, it's gonna be as a backup, third string, you name it. But I just don't see Cam Newton getting signed anytime soon this season.
Well, that's fine as a backup, but where at as a backup?
If he does get signed, I'm gonna say, I would say the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, man, because Tua, he's looking horrendous right now. He's looking like a bust in the NFL right now, man. Very disappointing in Tua right now, man. So I would say the Miami Dolphins.
I think he's played his last down completely. Shout out to Cam Newton, man. I'm gonna always remember the little Superman, the MVP. Of course, him at Auburn. Oh my God, that dude was ridiculous at Auburn. He broke my heart as an LSU fan. That dude was ridiculous. But I do think he played his last down. If he does come back, I would be somewhat shocked. I just don't think, wow. I mean, at this point, okay, the Dolphins bring him in. Is he the long-term future? No, I don't think he is. Why bring him in? If you bring him into Washington right now, I know that's been a speculation. He's not the long-term answer there. I think they need to focus on the long-term answer. I just don't see a situation where I'm looking at and saying to myself, okay, we bring him in. What are we bringing him in for? I like the Dallas one. That's kind of unique because he knows that he'll be the backup, clearly. But even then, I just don't think at this point in the season, he's going to have to learn the offense. He's going to have to gain some type of chemistry with those receivers. And I just think it's too late in the year for him to really grasp that like that, to be get on a contenders team and then actually be good. So I'm going to say no. I think Cam's done, bro.
I want to say he's done, but looking at Dallas, Dallas is and I hate to say this, it hurts my soul to say it.
Oh God, don't say it, please.
But the Dallas Cowboys are a Super Bowl contender.
Uh-huh.
And right now, if last year, Jerry Jones is looking at last year and saying the difference between last year and this year is our quarterback and Dak Prescott. I think that's clear to everyone. And last year, they had a backup in Andy Dalton who was very mediocre. And they looked terrible last year. You can't put their backup in right now and think you're going to win a game. I don't even know who is it. Cooper Rush? Who's their backup in Dallas right now?
Well, they already They already released Cooper Rush. He's been gone. Um the backup is
It
um
doesn't matter who the backup is.
wow, really? God damn.
Because it's not Dak Prescott, and they're not going to win a game with him. So Jerry Jones knows
Oh
this.
my
This is
god.
they have such a small window to 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 really maintain this momentum because I know Dak's injured right now. If he spends any time out, it won't be very long. So they just need small windows just in case. They just need a little small insurance policy. And I think Cam Newton could be a guy that could give him a little bit of insurance policy. He can give him he's not going to give him great quarterback play, but he's going to give him at least
Yeah,
mediocre quarterback play.
Is
So,
Cam willing? Is Cam willing to come in and be a backup?
yes.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think he expects to start. Not with with his performance. If anything, uh, I think he understands that he needs to go in and play a backup role, and if he does well, then he could possibly get a starting role. But he has not done anything to deserve a starting role right now, and I think he understands that because he wasn't very good in New England. So by no means was he good. They cut him for a rookie. Cut him. They wouldn't even keep him as a backup. Cut him because they saw how bad he was and how much of a distraction he was. And maybe the COVID shot too. They won't ever say it out loud because it'll be breaking the rules, but we know that that's probably what happened. But yeah, I think Cam Newton could come in as a backup, and I think Dallas would be the best place for it.
Okay.
So in our last topic in the NFL, who are your top 5 power rankings going into this next week?
You want me to go first, Kill?
yeah, go ahead.
I got the Baltimore Ravens at 5. I think the impressive win versus the Chargers was big time. Going in at number 4, oh God, the
Uh oh.
Dallas Cowboys.
Uh oh. Uh
I got the Cowboys at 4. It's kind of like a trickle down effect when you look at from 4 to 2. I have the Cowboys at 4 because they lost to the 3 team. The 3 team being the Bucks. I think the Bucks, Tom Brady, he keeps putting in work year after year. We understand what he is, the GOAT. So I have them at 3. At number 2, I have the Rams. The Rams beat the Bucks. So they should be in front, in my opinion, with having the same record. And the one loss that the Rams have on their resume is to the number 1 team, and that's the Cardinals. So I have Cardinals, Rams, Bucks, Cowboys, and Ravens in that order. And it's simple. Every team that I have in front beat the team that's behind them.
My number one team I got is the Arizona Cardinals. They stay undefeated. My number 2 team I got the LA Rams. I think they've been playing some really great solid football. I do not have the Buffalo Bills on there. Number 3, I'm going with America's
Oh,
team, the
God.
Dallas Cowboys, man. I don't give a I don't care if they lost to Tampa Bay, if they played again, the roles will get
Oh,
reversed.
God.
wow.
Oh, God. Are you
Just
kidding
remember
me?
remember how close that game was. It was the very first game also. So and I think Trayvon Diggs wasn't that player in week 1, and what would happen with Tom Brady if he threw around Trayvon Diggs
Oh,
area,
God.
man. I don't know,
Are you
man. I'm not
disrespecting
I
the GOAT?
um only when they play against the Cowboys. And then number 4, I'm going with Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay still been a very solid team, and they got a favorable schedule moving forward. And number 5, last but not least, I got to go with the Baltimore Ravens. I think as of right now, the Baltimore Ravens are the best team in the AFC right now. You could say, the Chiefs is there, but as of right now, the way they've been playing, it's the Baltimore Ravens, the best team in the AFC. But those are my Power Five rankings ending off this week.
All right. I have things almost exactly like you, True,
Okay.
except I have two teams flipped.
Okay.
At number 5, I'm gonna go with number 5 first. At number 5, I got the Arizona Cardinals.
What? At 5?
At 5,
Oh my God.
they are the Pittsburgh Steelers of this year. They're a good team, but I just they haven't beaten a great team yet.
Wow. Wow.
So
They beat the Rams.
not good enough.
Oh my God. Are you kidding? Didn't they beat Tennessee the first week? They blasted Tennessee. You wilding right now. Wow.
I got Arizona at number 5. At number 4, I got how about them Cowboys?
Oh God.
Stephon Diggs. Every time you think he's gonna have a game that he gets mediocre again, he picks sixes. The next Deion Sanders, man. This guy is an unbelievable. It's been, probably the biggest breakout season of any player this season in the NFL, Stephon Diggs. So yeah. At number 3, I got Tampa Bay. I think they're solid. They're really banged up right now. They got a lot of injuries, but at the end of the day, you got Tom Brady. They're still winning. They're gonna be in my top 5. At number 2, I got the Rams.
Wow.
I got the Rams. I think.
Hold on. Let me write this down. Okay. I got you. All right. I know who number 1 is then. So go ahead.
At number 1 is my pick for the MVP of the NFL season. He has done nothing but go out there and prove his haters wrong. He had a career passing game last week where he had over 450 yards passing. This guy's he's had only one game this season that they have not rushed for over 100 yards. They're winning on defense. They're winning in the air. They're winning on the ground. However they need to win, they're winning games. That's the Baltimore Ravens. They are my number 1 team going into this week. You heard it here first. Remember at the end of the season what happens.
I can't believe this guy. This is clearly biasness, people. I apologize to everybody out there. Yeah, they're 5-1, Justin. We understand. Give them a round of applause. This is the same team that had to go into overtime to beat the Indianapolis Colts. Give me a break. All right, give me a break. Don't do that. Hey, they had a good win this past week. It's very impressive. But number 1, I just don't see it. Who did they lose to? They lost to, I'm trying to put it out the air. Was it the Raiders? No, the Raiders, huh? The Raiders beat them.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so, yeah. There you have it.
Don't disrespect the Raiders. Come on.
The Raiders all right. They all right. Come on, man. What we doing, man?
Well,
so you think Baltimore would beat Tampa Bay?
Yes. Right now, currently.
Yeah, he threw.
Now, once Tampa Bay gets healthy, that's another story. But we're talking about currently, this week, right now.
You think they would beat? You think Baltimore would beat the Rams? Are you crazy? Oh wow!
Yeah, man. I mean, if he's gonna do that, he's gonna have to throw the ball more. Unlike this past weekend, he went 19 for 27, 167 yards. He did have 2 interceptions, by the way. But let's not act like Lamar Jackson was responsible for that win. It was that defense. They forced a lot of turnovers.
Hey, this is a team effort. I didn't say the top 5 players. I said the top 5 teams, and that's the Baltimore Ravens. That defense is stout.
So are they going to beat the Bengals this week?
Yes.
Okay. I ain't mad at you. Hey, I am not mad at you.
All right, we got one little topic left, Keo. I'm gonna let you, lead us in it. It's our game of the week before we get off the air.
So normally, we like to pick all the games that's on the best games that's on the schedule. So this week we're gonna do things a little bit different, and we're gonna pick our game of the week. You guys could see our picks on Sunday morning once we release our everybody's picks. But this week's game of the week is we're gonna go with the Kansas City Chiefs and the team that just knocked off the Buffalo Bills, who were on the Power Five rankings last week, and that's the Tennessee Titans.
I got the Chiefs. I know the Chiefs haven't played the best football, but I just expect them to kind of slowly turn things around. I like what I saw from Darrell Williams this past week running the football. For whatever reason, look, I'm an LSU guy. Clyde Edwards-Helaire hasn't been that guy. I mean, I'm going to just call a spade a spade. But Darrell Williams, another LSU guy, is playing much better at the running back position. I think that Travis Kelce and company, Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes, they get it together. They beat Tennessee this upcoming week.
Speaking of guys who haven't, lived at their potential, Ryan Tannehill hasn't been playing his best football like he did last season, and he has a guy Julio Jones now, so he has great weapons with Brown and Julio Jones. So man, I got Tennessee this week. I think with King Henry, the way he's been playing, we may be looking at probably the best running back of all time in front of our eyes, if not the best running back of all time, the best power running back of all time. That's a man among boys. So shout out to King Henry. I got Tennessee, making it difficult for Kansas City. That defense is not very good in Kansas City, and I think he can really run all over them.
Hey, Drew, send me that trade that you offered me. I can't believe I turned that trade down.
I thought about you when I watched that game too.
Dude, I can't believe I turned that trade down. Oh my God. Go ahead, Keo.
I'm going with the Chiefs in this one. I think the Chiefs. I think this is their time when they get on the roll. I know that the game is in Tennessee. The Tennessee's coming off of a huge win against Buffalo, but I think this is that slip up game that they're gonna get, and this is just the wrong team to run into. You running into the Kansas City Chiefs, and I think the Chiefs will get back on the roll with Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and you got all those weapons like Harden and them. So I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay. Hey, real quick, shout out to the Bucks, man. My finals pick. They just dismantled the Brooklyn Nets just now. Giannis Antetokounmpo, my number one pick in fantasy basketball. Put up a light, almost 150. I mean, in fantasy, every cent was well spent. Woo! Let's go, man.
All right, man. Well, this has been another episode of the NBS Nothing But Sports Show. From any shout outs y'all have, guys?
Yeah. Shout out to you for coming back. Shout out to X. I'm glad he's feeling better. We weren't able to give you the NBS Stardom Sidham show, but it'll definitely be back this week. And we'll make sure you go follow the brand on all social media platforms, on Facebook, on Instagram. Make sure you subscribe to the NBS channel. Make sure you go tune in to I'm not going to take any shots. Make sure you turn to the Let's Talk About It show with Red, CC, and Q, and then later that day, or before that, we do have Battle Political with Hurricane Do, and shout out to the whole team, man. But besides that, thank you.
Yep, everything Keo just said. Shout out to Justin for coming back, man. Definitely a pleasure, even though I don't always agree with you. It's definitely good to see you in good spirits and in good health. Definitely. The Stardom Sit-Em show, man. I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to give my spot up to somebody because right now, whatever I'm doing is not working for me. Obviously, it's working for you, Keo. Maybe you need to do it. Justin, stop. Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't even want to see that right now. Shout out to Giannis Antetokounmpo, man. You know what type of vibes we on, man.
You need to have a starter sit-up NBA edition because that's the only thing apparently you know anything about.
Tomorrow night, Tatum, my other young go-getter, he gets to play.
Wow.
That's your little trade offer. It was tempting, but we know what Jason Tatum is, a superstar. If you want him, you gotta come better than that. Woo!
All right, man. Well, shout out to everybody out there who watches the show every week. I really appreciate any of y'all who gave out y'all thoughts and prayers for while I was going through my medical issues lately. Want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, who's there for me every day. Thank you, True. Thank you, Keo, for holding it down and always being on here. When people aren't available, y'all are always here. So I really appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. I love both of y'all. So thank y'all for holding it down and doing what y'all do every week in and week out. And I'm glad to be back, and hopefully we can do this again next week, and I can keep things real and show y'all how it's really done. But
yeah, make sure you get the win in fantasies.
I need it.
Woo!
And I'm 4-1. Woo!
That's so weak, bro. That is so weak.
Hey,
bro.
you made that prediction, man. You're pretty good.
I did.
Woo!
All right, y'all.
All right, guys. See you guys next week.
All right.